I am a strong advocate for continuous training in worship teams, and I should tell you that training is not just for beginners. Training doesn't mean that your team is weak. It is rather a signal that your team is committed to growth, to excellence, and sustenance of quality service. In the professional setting, we have continuous training. Even before you can get some promotion, you want to go to the next level. There will be some trainings that will be scheduled for you to go through. And at times, it might not come with any promotion, but it is just to enhance your skills, sustain what you know, and expose you to new areas of your profession. If all of that happens in every other profession, I don't know why we can't bring that same knowledge to worship teams. Many worship teams today focus so much on spiritual growth, fasting, prayer, devotion, Bible study, and they neglect the practical skills as if skills don't matter to God. Our skills actually matter to God. And you find that in people who have excelled in their calling. In the scriptures, talk about David. Yes, the Spirit of God was upon him, but he was also skilled in music. And that is why we have various musical instruments. He's skilled in playing all of that. And he brought all those skills to God. And if you come to the New Testament, you talk about Apostle Paul. Apostle Paul was very educated, and that reflected in all his writings. And most of the gospels that we refer to today that really built our Christianity were actually taken from the writings of Apostle Paul. So when I talk about training, it is not because your team doesn't know how to do things. Training can be triggered by various reasons. Number one, if you have additional members to the team, or you discover that you are having more new members to the team, and they can't really relate with the standards, the quality, and what the team stands for. We organize some training to let everybody level up, quote and unquote, with what the team is about. It could also be that your congregation, the composition of your congregation has changed over time, and you need to address that specific congregation. There is wisdom in every training that we go through, and the Holy Spirit is going to help us to use those trainings to glorify Himself whenever we stand together to worship. So if we neglect training, we are neglecting that major part of God using us to bless His people during every worship session. And when we talk about training, it is very important that it is shared as a team. It is possible that as a member of the worship team, I keep growing myself, I keep learning, I keep training myself. But if that knowledge is not shared, I can become frustrated, because what I understand, if other people don't understand it, it could bring friction. Some people might start thinking that I'm just trying to show off. And I could begin to see other people as not as qualified as I am, not having much authority as I have. The misunderstanding can go on and on and on. And that is why I always encourage that there should be knowledge sharing when it comes to training. Training sessions does not have to be necessarily long. It doesn't have to take a whole Saturday or 3 days or 5 hours. It can just be a simple topic that everyone will have to learn 1 or 2 things about. It could be a breakout session about a conversation on what happens when some situations arise. It could be someone sharing knowledge and everybody contributes, and we all have a common understanding of what is going on. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you bring a resource person. One of the advantages of continuous training for worship team members is that, one, it makes your team fresh always. It is possible that we get to a point in our worship team journey that we feel, yes, we know what we are supposed to do. Yes, this is how we do it. This is what we know how to do. And this is how we've been doing it. And over time, we become complacent and things are changing in the spiritual realm, but we will not be so open to how to handle it. In fact, we will not be able to access that new knowledge God is trying to pass across to us because we are complacent. But when we make training or habit like it is a normal thing for us to do, it can be quarterly, it can be biannual. It doesn't have to be every day, it doesn't have to be every Saturday, but there should be a time dedicated to training the team. It helps a whole lot. When you embrace continuous training, your team stays creative always. You stay spiritually alert and musically alive. Number 2, training ensures that everyone has the same understanding about the same concept. It is possible that in different worship teams we have different understanding of how things work. I could draw this example. In a team, somebody might feel like, okay, we must always have females singing the melody line, and they will probably call it soprano. And when a male voice comes into play and wants to take the melody line, they feel like, no, a female is always taking the melody line. And that is something that could be open to conversation. It depends on the composition of your team. It depends on the kind of voices that you have. Yes, it's possible that when the team started, it has always been females. And now, things have changed. You have different people, you have different kinds of voices on the team. So you have to work things around to ensure that you still have the same common goal. Now, if there is someone that has always believed that female voice will always take the melody line, we have to come to an understanding that, okay, your concept is right, but this is what we can do, because the composition of the people and the kind of voice we have now won't allow for that. We have just one female voice, and that one female voice is the only voice that can take harmony. So we have to draft in a male voice so that the female voice can go to the harmony. Yeah, things can be so flexible. It doesn't have to be rigid, and that is the essence of training. There could be different concepts. We are coming from different backgrounds. There could be various understanding of different concepts that we have, but at the training session, everybody will work from the same point of view and will be sure that what we are doing is what everybody accepts. Nothing slows down a worship team like confusion, but training brings alignment, it brings clarity, and it brings order. Number 3, training brings confidence and reduces stage anxiety. It's possible that when you have new members or in a team, it's possible that we have some people that we have regarded as, yes, these people really know how to do things, and we try to measure up to their standard. It is not uncommon in worship teams, and it's good. But how do we ensure that everybody can also get to that point? It is at the point of training. Some people will feel reluctant to do some certain things in worship team because they feel that they are not adequate, because someone can do it better. But at the point of training, when we share the principles that guides how that person is getting it right, those people who feel they are not qualified can become more confident. They will understand the principle, they will be exposed to how to do it right, and the team will grow together. Remember, the whole essence of worship team is to grow together, not just one person shining. Everybody can shine together. I've always believed that. And one of the ways to ensure this is to have continuous training on topics, subject matters, conversations that affects that particular team. Last point here is that training strengthens the team and eliminates unnecessary frictions. When I have the same understanding as you have it, even though I'm still trying to grow to the stage of perfection, but we have the same understanding. So that means that we can sharpen each other, we can respect each other's opinion, we can respect each other's level of delivery. But when we have in separate ways, what you know is different from what I know, or how I know it is different from how you know it, and we want to merge together in worship team, is going to create a lot of friction. Most of the frictions we have in worship teams are not because of bad hearts. It's actually because of unclear expectations. People don't understand that concept the same way, and it's going to cause a lot of rift among worship teams. So when we come to the point of training, it is a leveler. It is eye-opening for everyone to ensure that we come from the same angle, we come from the same perspective, and we can worship God in unity. So I always encourage every worship team member to engage in training at least once in 3 months. Pick a subject, pick a topic that you know that can affect your team positively. It's not every topic that will benefit your team, of course. Teams are in different levels, so it is important to pick relevant training topic, relevant training conversation that could grow your team. Training ensures that everyone understands the flow, the structure, and the standard. A trained team is a confident team. A trained team is a spiritually effective team, and a trained team is a united team. So someone might be asking, okay, how can we be training? What else are we going to train about? We've talked about vocal harmony. We've talked about worship arrangement. We've talked about voice training. We've talked about this and this and this and that. There are 1001 topics you can look into, as common as knowing different types of microphone. I was in a gathering in a worship team some times ago, and the microphones were not enough. And the music director suggested that 2 people should share the same microphone. So I looked at the microphone and realized that it was a unidirectional microphone. So because of my knowledge in that space, I had to advise the music director that this is not going to work because it is unidirectional microphone. It is actually having a diaphragm at the center. So two people cannot use it and achieve effective output. So we had to look for another channel so everybody can have one microphone each. That is because I know about it. So you can imagine what could have happened if two people are sharing the same microphone and the microphone is unidirectional. They will struggle and shout and the voices will not just really punch out, and that could be frustrating. So that is the essence of as simple as knowing the type of microphone, dynamic or condenser, uni or omni. Those are little things we can pay attention to. It comes handy when we need it. Other areas we can look into can include song arrangements for praise worship session, ensuring that they align and they fit in perfectly like jigsaw puzzle, ending songs clearly, reading and understanding your audience during your ministration, responding to spontaneous moments during praise worship session. For example, a singer goes off key. What is going to happen? The microphone powers out. What are you going to do? The lead singer goes off beat. What would the instrumentalist do? That is not the point for the drummer to go off, take his hands off the drums and say, what is happening? Or the keyboardist shouts at the singer or rolls the notes from top to bottom, high octave. That is not the time to do that. How do we handle such situations? Controlling microphone feedback during your ministration. At times you realize that for whatever reason, the mic just makes the sound, the howling sound, but whoop. How are you supposed to handle that? Those are the trainings we can begin to look into. Spiritual preparations before your worship session, respecting the altar and the atmosphere of worship, how to maintain focus during worship even in the face of distractions, engaging your audience without abusing your position as the praise worship leader. It can also go to the point of communicating accurately and appropriately with the sound team while you're on stage. So the list can go on and on. So I encourage you, don't wait till things fall apart before you start training your team. Build a culture where training is normal, expected, and celebrated. Your worship team will thank you for that. Your congregation will feel the difference and God will be glorified through that excellence. So I encourage you, the internet is your best friend here. I take my time always to engage in certain trainings. I just want to expose myself to something fresh, something different. Even if it is something I know before, I want to listen from another person. That will be an additional advantage, an additional knowledge I'm going to get. I go on LinkedIn, I go on YouTube, I go to various worship websites. I follow some other worship leaders, see their understanding about some concepts. These things can be knowledge that can be shared with the team, and you can also do the same too. You don't have to go to a particular school for it. You don't even have to pay for it. Some of these materials are free online, and I encourage you to start searching. Depending on the need of your team, make sure that you are training consistently and you will see the difference. Till the next episode, I am Seyi Fumiola today. Keep excelling for Christ.